that streaking SRC coming in across the sky. At this point, we have entered in over San Francisco, California, and are very quickly going to be approaching the Utah Test and Training Range just a little bit further to the east. Entry was at
EO milestone. SRC is experiencing maximum heating and maximum deceleration.
So you just heard right there, we're experiencing that 5,000 degree Fahrenheit maximum heating, burning scalding hot on that heat shield that is protecting our sample within, and maximum deceleration that is at 32 G-force, punishing deceleration from Earth's atmosphere, the drag forces that are acting on that SRC. We see
EO milestone. We have confirmed parachute deployment.
Wow, and after an exhilarating streak across Earth's atmosphere, we have parachute deployment. You can see just a sigh of relief from the team. I can hear some applause here. There is that orange creamsicle colored parachute, just a delight, a sweet delight to see in our sky here over the Utah Test and Training Range. A phenomenal view, just wonderful to see that deployment. That is at around 5,000 feet elevation above the Utah Test and Training Range. And now this is like a marathon runner savoring that last lap here as we approach the finish, that landing in the Utah Test and Training Range. You can see right in the center of that crosshair, that is the parachute with the SRC dangling beneath. The team on the WB-57 doing
EDL milestone. We have touchdown. I repeat, EDL. SRC has touchdown.
And touchdown of the OSIRIS-REx sample return capsule. A journey of 1 billion miles to asteroid Bennu and back has come to an end. Probably a little bit soft, so it looks like it's resting a little bit far off the actual desert. It doesn't appear to have dug in too much with that nose cone from the heat shield. And there is landing of our first helicopter at the site. Appears to have a nice soft landing. We're just probably a couple hundred feet.
Recovery operations. Helo 1 has landed at the recovery site.
So our first helicopter, you just heard confirmation, and you can see visual confirmation of that landing. We're maybe about 100, 200 feet away, landing away from that sample. So a little bit of a hike for our team members to get out to that sample return capsule and begin our environmental safety sweep. As I mentioned, our on-scene commander, Stu Wiley, will be the first person of the team to actually approach this sample, check the area for any unexploded ordnances, UXOs, that could possibly be out there on the range, and then also make sure that that SRC is safe for our operations team to approach and begin recovery. And also just a note on our parachute deployment, the parachute was set to deploy based on capsule deceleration, and we actually reached that threshold earlier than predicted, and the parachute deployed appropriately, so everything was right there, working perfectly fine. We got that SRC, as you can see, successfully on the ground. It is perfectly resting on the desert terrain, and you see 3 of our team members around that capsule beginning to place flags to begin to collect samples. The team members here you see on screen are Scott Sanford, Dante Loretto, the principal investigator at the right of your screen there, and Francis McCubbin. And I can see a lot of dust kicking up now. The engine's really revving up on that helicopter, and it is off the desert terrain in the air with the SRC in tow.
Recovery operations. Helicopter 1 is cleared to depart the recovery site with the SRC.
And we have clearance to depart the recovery site. This is a key moment of those recovery operations. We're already getting that SRC out of the landing zone and on its way to the Dugway clean room. In just a few moments, that SRC with the long line attached will be lifting off its landing zone. Jasmine assisting with that final part of the lift, and it is now airborne. As I mentioned, a much more relaxing flight for our SRC on its last leg of its journey. We are officially departing that landing zone. Recovery operations will continue out at the Dugway clean room. I see team members waving goodbye. And you can see it being lowered down. The clean room, the top of the clean room, the building rather, is in view. And that SRC is coming down to the ground. Slowly being lowered. Everything about this has been carefully planned out. A very slow process. You can see a wonderful view of the SRC and the cargo netting. That metal piece on the bottom is the carrying fixture that helps team members actually carry this SRC. In just a few moments, the SRC will be back on the ground. Its second touchdown of the day, a much calmer one than we had earlier this morning. And you see two members approaching, grabbing that cargo netting to get the SRC on the ground, and in just a few seconds we will have a release of that long line. And there you have it. The SRC has arrived at the clean room. Claps from the audience in the background there. Very excited to have this back on the ground. And in just a few moments, team members will approach. A very excited celebration. We get a nice close-up view of the SRC here. You can really see how charred it is from that entry into Earth's atmosphere. That is the back shield that you're seeing of the SRC, and the top part there has been sealed off. That is actually where the parachute was deployed from. You can see there's that yellowish orange seal that was placed on top there where the parachute disconnected from the SRC. A brief team huddle here as they walk through the next step of the operation, making sure everyone is on the same page here as they will lift up the SRC ever so slightly, and the team has these brush tools. You can see one of our curators carrying one in her right hand there. They'll lift up the SRC and she's going to scrape off any dirt from the Utah desert that was on the bottom. That will actually then be certainly of interest to the curation team as they begin to analyze the sample we got back. You can see they're giving it a little brush. Very charred surface of that SRC. That metallic portion below is the heat shield, which protected our sample on its journey through Earth's atmosphere to the Utah Test and Training Range. And you'll see a lift of that SRC for team members to access underneath, checking for any dirt. It doesn't look like we really had any develop. And this is actually great because what happened was, since the soil was so, and place it onto the clean rooms fixture. So quick little transfer, very quick opening of the doors in just a second here. You can see our team members moving that a little bit closer. The doors are now open. We are entering into the clean room, and that SRC is about to be moved off onto our clean room fixture. Our clean room team members carrying that SRC in, and these doors will be slammed shut just as soon as we can get that SRC fixture out, and there we go. It is in the clean room. The SRC from the desert of Utah, earlier this morning arriving, has been successfully delivered to the Dugway Portable Clean Room. And you can just see just how charred that SRC back shell and heat shield are. A great close-up angle here. You can really see our prized sample return capsule at long last in the clean room.